Okay. So, free food. Share that. Wow, dami oh. Mm. Ay, ay, ay. Paprito. Papay. Ronyola ba? I'll take two. Ang dami. Yan, gusto mong magkape. Yan ako. Pero ng kapeng iba. Okay, time check. Ah. Dami oh. Okay, isa. Okay. Meron bang candy? Yan. Yan. Okay, Mountain Dew apple. Ah. Kape. Ah. And tonight, when that black smoke appeared, tens of thousands in St. Peter's Square erupting in applause. Even though there was no need. Ang labo mo, kape. Ang labo. Labo, labo, labo. Ah. Again tomorrow in the morning and again in the afternoon, and they'll keep going day after day until one of them in that room becomes hope. The closing of the doors of the Sistine Chapel. Inside, the 133 cardinals who will decide the next leader of the Catholic Church. Closed off from the rest of the world until one of the men in that room is elected to the next one. The Swiss Guard outside the chapel. The day began with the Mass at St. Peter's Basilica, the cardinals giving up their cell phones, any contact with the outside world. The airways in the Vatican have been jammed to prevent communication. New York Times Timothy Golan posting this video before the day began. Hi there. How are you? Good. Busy. Tired. Oh my God. Thank you, Lord. No Pope yet.
I'm right here pushing it and pushing it. There's no water.
Oh yeah, I know. That's why. You want some?
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, okay. The procession from the Pauline Chapel to the Sistine Chapel, all in their red robes, their fires, their most formal attire, to the Sistine Chapel, chanting the litany of the saints. No, I didn't see that. Is it hot or cold? Oh.
I have ice in here, but yeah, it's hot.
Okay.
Oh, not hot, but room temperature.
Oh, nice.
Oh, the water's right here.
Oh, yeah, you have. You want? Okay.
I need that. The cardinals then entering the Sistine Chapel, walking up to the altar and bowing, then taking their seats at tables lining the chapel. They sit in the shadow of Michelangelo's last judgment. No Pope yet. No Pope. No Pope yet. The Secretary of State under Pope Francis, and one of several contenders to become the next Pope, leading the cardinals in a cult of secrecy and vowing to not let their vote be swayed by external influences. Each cardinal then approaching the altar on their own, placing their hand on the gospel, stating their name, and saying, I do so promise, pledge, and swear to uphold their sacred duty. So help me God. The weight of the moment on their faces.
I thought Donald wanted to see the new pope.
Huh?
Donald Trump wanted to see the new pope.
Born in Chicago.
He wants to see everything.
Born in Milwaukee. Cardinal Joseph Pilgrim, once the lieutenant, the Archbishop of Newark, New Jersey. And then Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York. It was Cardinal Charles Longbow, the first ever cardinal from Maine, named by Pope Francis. Cardinal Luis Antonio Conley.
Yeah, that's from the Philippines. Tagle.
Humanity is considered contender.
Wow.
Cardinal Peter Erdo of Hungary, considered more conservative, also potential pope. Cardinal Matteo Zuppi, the Archbishop of Bologna, Italy, who rides his bicycle everywhere, considered a street priest, much like Francis. And Cardinal Pierre Battista Pizzaballa, the first Cardinal of Jerusalem, named by Pope Francis. All of them are contenders. And after each one of them pledges secrecy in the Sistine Chapel, the
It's
famous
going to be another
before
Italian.
the voting begins. Monsignor Diego Ravelli giving the order extra omnes.
Extra omnes.
Latin for everybody out. Those who are not
Everybody out.
leaving the chapel. The doors are closed.
Good luck.
I know. They closed it.
Yeah.
This conclave will be like no other. 133 cardinals voting, all under the age of 80. The majority, 80% of them, appointed by Pope Francis. They come from every corner of the world, 71 different countries. The largest and most diverse conclave in recent times. The youngest cardinal, 45. The oldest will turn 80 next week. They will cast secret ballots up to 4 times a day. 2 votes in the morning, 2 votes in the afternoon. And a 2/3 majority is needed to elect a new pope. And late today here, one by one behind closed doors, each cardinal voting for the first time. As part of the ancient ritual, they disguise their handwriting, and on a ballot that says, I elect the Supreme Pontiff, they then write in the name of one of their peers in that room, holding the ballot twice and walking it to an urn at the front of the chapel. 3 hours after those doors close, the black smoke. No pope. We're coming back on the air live from Vatican City. Let's go right to the live picture right now from St. Peter's Square. You can hear the cheers erupting, the applause. That's simply because we have our first signal from the Sistine Chapel, the black smoke signaling that there is not a new pope as of yet. Tens of thousands at St. Peter's Square witnessing history unfold. The cheers, the swell of emotion, and that first sign of smoke. Tens of thousands of people came out to see that first smoke today, even though history tells us that it is extraordinarily rare that there would be a new pope elected on day 1 of the conclave. But they came anyway, with their eyes trained on that chimney, waiting for the smoke. We met sisters from across the U.S. who lead their congregations, from Ohio to Texas, from New York to Michigan, and they were moved by that first sign of smoke.
We love Pope Francis, and we really want someone who will be a very good shepherd for the church.
You're hoping that the next pope will follow in Francis's mold.
Yes. His love before his embodiment of the gospel. Yes.
Their trip was planned even before the conclave, but they are grateful to have witnessed this first step. That's a lot of weight on these cardinals and on the next pope.
Yes.
But I can tell you're hopeful.
Very hopeful. If it was done by sisters, it wouldn't have been 3 hours. That's right.
And we met Denise Washington, originally from New York, who wanted to be here. What do you make of the energy in the crowd? And did you think it even transcends the Catholic Church?
Absolutely.
How so?
Because I'm not Catholic, and there are a number of people who are not Catholic that were in the crowd, and with Pope Francis, a lot of people see him as someone who is relatable. And that is what so many people around the world really admire.
An extraordinary sight with the tens of thousands gathered here. And by the way, they have 2 stoves inside the Sistine Chapel. One to burn the ballots after the votes. The other, they burn chemicals to produce that white or black smoke. They want to make sure people watching can discern the difference because there has been confusion in the past. Again, the white smoke signals a new pope and will be here until we see him. In the meantime, the other news tonight, and to a stunning accident, the second one in just days of a U.S. aircraft carrier, a $70 million American fighter jet, has plunged into the Red Sea while trying to land on the USS Harry Truman aircraft carrier. The pilots rescued from the water, and it comes just days after another fighter jet fell from that same carrier, sinking into the sea. Here's Martha Robbins.
Tonight, in a seemingly unprecedented series of mishaps on a U.S. aircraft carrier, another $70 million fighter jet plunging into the Red Sea. Incident in just months. This latest mishap occurring when the pilot of an FA-18 Super Hornet was attempting a nighttime tailhook landing on the USS Truman, but the jet ended up falling off the end of the aircraft instead. Both pilots ejecting, a rescue helicopter pulling them out of the water with only minor injuries. Just 8 days ago, another F-18 fell off the Truman as the jet was being towed. A third F-18 from the Truman was accidentally shot down by one of the other U.S. warships in the carrier strike group near the beginning of the deployment. And in February, the carrier collided with a cargo ship, causing significant damage. David, the Navy already fired the first commander of the Truman. These latest mishaps could mean the same for the commander's replacement. David?
Martha Raddatz with us tonight. Martha, thank you. Now the verdict late today, the case that sparked nationwide protests back in the U.S. 3 former Memphis police officers charged in state court in the beating death of Tyree Nichols after he ran away from a traffic stop. They have been found not guilty. Let's get right to Chief Justice First Lady Pierre Thomas with us tonight. Pierre?
There are those 3 former officers sentencing on those federal civil rights convictions tied to the death of Tyree Nichols. But today, that state jury believed the defense argument that those officers specifically did not deliver the kind of blows that would have killed Nichols, whose beating was caught on their police body cameras. It was a beating so vicious that some compared it to the brutality cases of Rodney King and George Floyd. Today, those former officers relieved seeing here embracing in court. But tonight, the Nichols family is devastated. 2 other officers who prosecutors believe delivered the majority of blows that killed Nichols previously had pled guilty to state and federal charges. Such a horrible case, but tonight the criminal trials tied to Nichols are now over. David?
Pierre Thomas with us tonight. Pierre, thank you. We turn next this evening to the economy, and tonight Ford now says it will raise prices on some vehicles, pointing to President Trump's tariffs. There's a warning here from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell about the U.S. economy. Mary Brooks at the White House.
Tonight, a grim warning from the chairman of the Federal Reserve on what Americans should be bracing for if President Trump's trade war drags on.
If the large increases in tariffs that have been announced are sustained, they're likely to generate a rise in inflation, a slowdown in economic growth, and an increase in unemployment.
Today, Ford telling dealers it will soon raise prices on 3 of its cars by as much as $2,000, citing, quote, some tariffs we are facing. Ford says Trump's tariffs could cost the company $1.5 billion in profits. And it comes after GM reported it could see its own profits.
Wash it with water.
This is the impact of the president's 145% tariffs on products imported by China is being seen at the port of Los Angeles, where the number of cargo ships arriving has grown 31%. Chinese and American officials expected to meet for the first time this weekend in Switzerland. China says in order to have substantive negotiations, you have to bring down your 145% tariff. Are you open to paying tariffs in order to get...
Abush, back to work.